Hi, you guys. I have no idea if this is working or not because I thought I would be able to film it going one way and then switch it so I can show you what I wanted to show you. But I guess whatever mode you start in is how you've got to keep it the entire time. So I am in my studio, in my garage, my glass studio. And I thought I would just kind of show you around and then do a little glass cutting demonstration. Um, so I guess now I can flip it around and then you can see what I'm showing you. Okay, this is kind of my spillway of some of my work in the other room of where I store my work and all that. So I just thought I'd give you a quick little glimpse of some of the things that I create. It's all fused glass. Kiln formed glass is another word for it, but basically it's creating a design in layers of glass and then um, stacking the pieces of glass on top of each other and then putting them in a kiln. Um, Here's a couple of examples of a kiln. This is a little baby kiln for jewelry. This is a little bit larger kiln. And then I've got out in this part of my garage, I've got a bigger kiln and then an even bigger kiln. um, I've got some other equipment, a saw, a grinder, nice drill press that I love. But so anyway, you stack the layers of glass and you create the design that way, and then it goes into a kiln. And then at about 1475 degrees, all the layers of glass melt down into one layer and become smooth. Um, it's not quite that easy. There's a lot of programming of the kiln that you have to do. You have to hold it at certain temperatures for certain periods of time, depending on how thick your piece is. Then you have to cool it down. It can take anywhere from 15 hours to days, depending on how thick your piece is. But basically, I will show you the different kinds of glass that you can purchase to create your work. This is glass sheet, so it's literally sheets of glass. They're all 1/4 of an inch thick, and I'm sorry, 1/8 of an inch thick. And then you can also have glass, this is called frit. So this is crushed glass, and it comes in different sizes. So this is medium sized, and then you can have fine, which is like sugar, would be the equivalent of sugar. This is really hard to do with two hands, but as you can see, it's like sugar. And so here's a little sample tile piece that I did that had a layer of white glass with a layer of clear glass over it. And then on top I put some frit. Here's some of this green frit. Here's some of this gray fine frit here and here. And then these lines are created they're called stringers and noodles. So again, it's all glass, but you've got these, this is a good example. These are called stringers. So this is all glass, and it's pulled very thin, so it's like spaghetti. And then there's noodles, such as these, which is like fettuccine, but again, it's all glass. And so you can use these in your design to create different elements and different looks. So that's what I've done here is I've created, so this was 2 layers of glass cut out like whatever this is, 4x4, 3x3. And then I laid on top these other elements, the frit and the noodle and stringer. And then I put it in a kiln and heated them all up to about 1475 degrees, and they all sink down and become one level. What else did I want to tell you? Here's just some little pieces I've been experimenting with. And anyway, I think that's it. I did a little glass cutting demo that I'm going to attach to the end of this, this little intro clip, and hope you enjoy. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate how to cut glass. You are going to need a glass cutter. This is called a pistol grip because you hold it like a pistol. And this is the little cutting wheel here. It's not sharp, it doesn't hurt your hands. And this is a cutting board I use. It's called a Morton cutting system, and it allows you to cut very straight lines, which is important. And basically you slide your glass into this area, and you make sure it's flush against this bottom bar. And this metal bar right here allows you to keep your cutting wheel straight when you press up against it, so you can draw down it and cut your glass and have a straight line. And you always want to be listening for kind of a scratching sound, and that means your cutting wheel is cutting into the glass so that you can break it. It's basically creating a score line to break the glass. So I'm going to press down, and I'm just going to let you listen. You're going to listen for that scratching sound, and that's when you know you're making good contact and you've got enough pressure to make an appropriate score line to cut the glass. So here we go. Heard that? Pretty sure you did. And then you're going to take these running pliers and you're going to orient them with this line right on top of your score mark. I don't know if you can kind of see the score line there. It's kind of hard sometimes to see it unless you get the light right. But I'm going to line up this right on top of that score line, and what that does is it makes this bottom ridge here go right underneath the score line, and then it allows the glass just to break over it. So I'm just going to hold it like this, and then I'm going to hold the top of the glass with my other hand, and I'm just going to pinch. Voila! Easy peasy. And if I wanted to do, maybe I have an organic shape that I want to do, I don't want a straight shape, I can just take let's say I just want to do kind of a curved line. I could draw it with a Sharpie and then follow along with my cutter on the Sharpie. Or if it's doesn't have to be exact, I can just do something out of my mind, just create something. And I use the index finger on my other hand just to sort of steady the cutter. And again, you're hearing that scratching sound. Okay, and I don't know if you can see the score mark or not. But again, I can use these for a gradual curve. I can use these again, and I'm just going to align it with the direction that the curve is going. Hold the top of the score mark and squeeze. Okay, started it a little bit. I can come back around this way. It's not as easy to cut a curved line as it is a straight line, but a lot of times it'll start it, and then you can just come around the other side and finish it. Pretty cool, right? So here's a picture of a piece that I have put in a kiln, and you see several layers of squares stacked up, and then it's going to transition to show you what the piece looks like after it is fired in the kiln, and all of those stacks have melted into each other and become one solid flat piece. So I hope this gives you a little glimpse into what I do, and I hope you enjoy. Thanks for listening.